How's it going, everyone? Thanks for jumping back into the Cryptoverse. I think we are live. Um, we'll see if the video pulls up. I'm not really seeing it. All right, I think we're live now. Go ahead and give the video a thumbs up if you guys are joining. Let's try to go ahead and get this started. Go ahead and get. So it says I have an excellent connection. We'll see if that actually stays that way. I'm not too convinced that I will, but we'll see. Yeah, hopefully connection's good. I just moved to a new place, so we're still getting things set up. There's still boxes around and everything, so it would not surprise me if the connection kind of craps out at some point. But until then, at least I can try to answer some questions. And yeah, if you guys do have questions, make sure you let me know in the comment section below. I'm gonna post this one other place here. All right. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, let me know. I just wanted to quickly talk about some of the markets, right? I mean, you guys know the drill. We'll first look at Bitcoin really quickly, see what's going on. Business as usual, more or less, right? We noted that we came down to the 20-week, at least for the time being. We did hold it as support. You can see if you zoom in, we held it as support, and we're starting to move back higher. One of the things, right? I don't typically show these shorter time frames, right? We don't typically show shorter time frames. But I just wanted to show this one. This is the 1 hour chart. And the reason I'm showing it is just looking at these ranges, right, which we've talked about before, right? These kind of these like stepping stones, right, to a new a sustainable $20,000 Bitcoin, right? And you can see we were in this upper region up here between say 11 to 12K for quite a while. Now I feel like we're flirting with that level again, right? If Bitcoin's able to break through this, right, and go back up into this region, and just move sideways again, I do think that other coins will continue to move. And the market, by the way, is still relatively bullish. It's becoming potentially bullish again, right? I mean, and there's a lot of projects that are kind of on hold, right, with their price momentum, because we're still waiting to see what Bitcoin's going to do, right? I don't imagine that we're going to stay just under 11K for very long. I think we're either going to come back down, or we're gonna break up into this upper region back here, right? And the thing that you need to be cognizant of, right? The thing that you need to be aware of is, again, in the event that we come back down, right? A lot of our altcoins. A lot of these altcoin positions probably wouldn't do so well. So you have to be aware of that, right? So we're essentially on the cusp here of us continuing this bullish momentum, right? Or coming back down, and then every altcoin, or not every, but most altcoins, taking a pretty big hit and continuing to take bigger hits each time that we test the 20-week, right? So you have to be aware of this. It's just crypto 101, right? Bitcoin 101. If you're not prepared for that move, then just recognize what would happen if it were to go back to the 20-week, right? I mean, it's only a 10% drop, right? I mean, the 20-week moving average is currently at $10,060. We're at 10.9. I'm not saying we're going to go retest it immediately. I'm just saying that if we do, if we end up not breaking through this and we come back down, a lot of altcoins will likely bleed. So let me look really quick. Ethereum, it's, as far as I'm concerned, I think that Ethereum, as we've said before, right? It's slowly gaining on the Bitcoin ratio, right? I mean, the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio, the valuation is slowly moving up. This year, right? Starting in 2020, we're seeing this slow, not monotonic move up, right? Where it kind of ebbs and flows. We've had these trend lines drawn for a while, so we're just going to continue to see if it plays out for the rest of 2020. I think it likely will at least stay within this trend, this window. So if we look at the Ethereum USD chart, hold on, I think my son just woke up. So if we look at the Ethereum USD chart, I think we're essentially in that region of, Bitcoin breaking 11K would be the catalyst that Ethereum would need to break 400, or vice versa, right? If Bitcoin goes to or if Ethereum goes to 400, this would also likely drag Bitcoin up past 11K. So like the first time when Ethereum passed 400 locally, anyways, this corresponded to Bitcoin breaking 12K, and now it's just $1,000 less. I might need to check on my son in a minute if I keep hearing him. Someone said the Uniswap transactions are pending for over 24 hours. Yeah, I mean it's just the congestion on the network, right? So if you're experiencing that, right, it means that you likely would just need to change the gas, like the amount of gas that you're using. So just consider that. A lot of people are asking about Uniswap. I did just make a video on Uniswap yesterday, actually. So maybe go check it out. I have it up here. Here's the Uniswap chart. I think that these short-term price moves are really going to be unpredictable, right? I do think they're largely unpredictable, right? These, looking at stuff like this where it kind of comes up and then comes back down. But I mean, ultimately speaking, right, as we said in the video, the Uniswap tokens are I think, right, I mean, this is not financial advice, right, but I think that they would do quite well in a bull market, right? We've seen Uniswap, the exchange, right, go from essentially nothing not too long ago to being, as we said in the video, right, like the de facto place to trade like ERC20 tokens, right? So because of this, and the liquidity pools that you can participate in and whatnot, I do think that there's going to be a lot of hype around this token. I don't think people should get mesmerized by it and think it's just going to go up forever. At the same time, I think the potential ROI could be quite high, right? In this scenario. So as far as the Uniswap tokens, if you're unfamiliar, if you've used Uniswap before and you used it before, I think September 1st, you can go to the exchange and claim probably at least 400 Uniswap tokens, right? So if you've used the exchange, right, anytime before September 1st of 2020, I believe, I could be wrong, I think there are 400 Uniswap tokens likely waiting for you if you were to sign in, right? And normally when you see these airdrops, it's not too substantial, right? It's not. I don't really mention this kind of stuff that often, but I mean, at present time, you're talking about $2,500 that might just be sitting there waiting for you to claim, right? So even if you just think that you logged in at one point and tried to make a transaction, I think it's at least worth checking, right, to see if you have tokens, just sitting there waiting for you, right? Because we're talking about potentially $2,500 worth of Uniswap tokens. And by the way, if you participated in liquidity pools, you would even have more. Okay, so I would check it out. At least look to see if you have any, because I mean I would hate for if you used it and then you just don't recognize that you have $2,500 just sitting on the exchange waiting for you to grab. Make sure you do that. Make sure you just take a few minutes, check to see if you have the tokens. And this is one that I think is going to be worth following this cycle. So it's getting testy, right? As we covered it yesterday, I think it was around 450. I said there's going to be a lot of volatility to the upside and the downside, and I think that's true, right? I mean, if you take these measured moves, we're seeing these, and we said 30% moves up, 30% moves down, going to be pretty standard, right? I mean, and we've seen that this was a 70% move up. This was a 60% move up, right? Followed by a 20% move down. So, this is one of those things where I can't tell you, right? I have no idea where it's going to go in the short term. I'm just saying it's going to be a coin that I follow on the channel, and I don't say that lightly, right? I don't follow that many coins. So if I follow one, there has to be a decent reason for it, and I've been using Uniswap for a while, so I think it's one we're going to follow. Let's take a look at Link really quick. So I mean, Link, it has dropped significantly. We definitely anticipated this, right? If you follow the channel, we said this is not the time to be buying Link way up here. Not financial advice, but just based on historical data, buying Link in this region would be a terrible mistake, and that the people buying up here are going to get trapped, right? They're going to get trapped because they're coming in after it's already up 10x in a very short period of time. They're going to buy at this upper region where there's a ton of volume coming in, and it's going to quickly retrace, and they're not going to get a chance to reclaim their money, and then it's going to come back down, right? This is exactly what happened, right? So I'm just letting you guys know that when these bubbles form, it's not, I mean, yeah, we can't exactly predict that. We can't predict the top, right? We can't predict the bottom. But this is why I always say, dynamically taking profits like on the way up at various levels, right? This is the name of the game. And you just recognize that you don't know where the top is, and you have to take those profits, right? You don't just want to leave money on the table, right? An unrealized ROI doesn't mean anything. If you're up 10x and then you watch it retrace 50%, I would say this is a problem, right? I mean, if you've been sitting on an investment and you're not taking profits, I know that if you were taking profits, right, you probably feel pretty good right now, right? Because you recognize the market for what it was. You said, you know what, I know that this is getting to the highly overvalued territory, and it's time for Link to cool off, not only against USD, right, but also against Bitcoin. It's time to cool off. It doesn't mean that Link is over, right? I still contend that Link is one of the best projects to be holding, right? This is a trend that I think it's worth being a part of, but you can see that we've had these moves a lot, right? It goes up and then it comes down, right? It go up, then we come down. We've seen these moves a lot, and then we don't anticipate it just to go up monotonically forever, right? We don't anticipate Link to just go straight to $100. What's more likely to happen, if you look at, say, a longer term time frame here, if Bitcoin stays bullish, right? I mean, Link could continue to drop, right? But eventually, we're probably going to see further peaks, right? Where we go higher than our all-time high, right, at $20. And maybe it does something like this. It comes back down, and then we continue going up. So it's essentially a collection of boom and bust cycles, right? That somewhat depend on what Bitcoin's doing. But in other regards, it doesn't. If you look at its valuation against Bitcoin, it can help you identify where the local top is, because Link tends to follow a pretty consistent pattern, right? And we covered this in prior Link videos, right? And we covered extensively on the premium list. So, I'm just going to say this again, right? On the premium list, we did the dynamic DCA selling strategy, and the highest point, according to that highest USD risk level, was 18, or the highest point that I sold was 1850. So you look at it now, right, and you say, well, that looks pretty good, right? At the time, though, at the time when I sold at 18.50, I then watched it go to $20, right? So you have to be aware that you sell, and if it goes up, you can't get too emotionally attached, right, to this little, to the little hairs sticking out above this sell region, right? Who cares? Who cares about that, right? This is a rounding error to some degree. So, I think the key thing here, right? If you're unfamiliar with with the crypto market and how to use these bubbles to your advantage, I would say come up with a plan, right? It doesn't have to be my plan; it can be your own plan. Just come up with a plan in order to to identify how you will take advantage of these bubbles when they form. Because the one thing we know about crypto, for the time being, anyways, right? The markets are still largely inefficient compared to other markets. How can what strategy can you come up with such that you can take advantage of these future bubbles and that you're not the dumb money buying in at the top, and then just biting your fingernails off watching it come back down. Okay, now I do think that Link will bail you out even if you bought up here. So even if you bought in this region, I think that Link will bail you out. I don't think it's going to be tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be next week. But as long as the crypto markets stay generally bullish, right, and Bitcoin, if Bitcoin's staying above the 20-week, I think that Link will likely bail you out, and that eventually, as we said, whether it goes down in the short term or not is somewhat irrelevant. I think that eventually you will see this as a just a stepping stone on the way. So in the future, right, if you zoom down the line and suspect that the market might end in, say, that this current market cycle might end in, say, 2023, and then you zoom out, right, and then you look at the whole market, you don't, if it does something like this, right, and it reaches these insane values later on, you might look at this and be like, yeah, that was a dumb move, but ultimately speaking, it worked out, right? But what I want you to focus on, right, is the fact that you would have been a lot better off, right, accumulating over here. And I know it sounds like simple, right? You look back and you say, well, yeah, of course. But we made tons of videos, right, in this time frame saying that this was the time to accumulate Link, right? We even made a video so that it's the light in the bear market. So I would say that you just need to change your mindset, right? If you're sitting in a position where you bought your Link at sorry, I'll get to some of the questions in a minute. If someone said they just got their unit good. Okay, so if you find yourself like kind of on the wrong side of this, right? If you find yourself buying up here and then wondering if you need to sell over here, try to flip it, right? So when you're moving up, you're not buying, right? You're figuring out how you can sell. Okay, when it's dropping, you're not figuring out if you should sell your position, right? Because you already sold a lot of it on the way up. Instead, you're just waiting for a great entry. So it changes the game, right? So if this is your first time in crypto and you just bought Link up here, to some degree, crypto has a way of burning you a few times before you might start to get the hang of it, right? It's kind of almost like a hazing process in a sense, right? I mean, it's kind of the rite of passage in a way of going through a bubble, experiencing it, right? Really taking that gut punch, but learning from your lessons, right? Picking yourself up by your bootstraps and recognizing, you know what? It was a dumb choice to purchase an asset when it's 10x up in the short term. But I'm going to learn from my mistakes, and that's going to be that, right? When we're gonna use this as a lesson. I think that with the market cycle being as theoretically young as it is, right? If we're talking about several years of continued development before another, say, multi-year bear market, I think that this, at the very least, right, would be good practice, for people who want to figure out the best way to use the markets to their advantage, right? And so use this as an opportunity to recognize that when things are going up, and everyone's telling you that it has to be a higher price next week, right? You have to recognize that this is the same story that always gets told, right? It's the same story that everyone tells every bubble, and then at some point you look back and you say, that the people that were selling, or the people that just weren't even part of the market at all, look back and say, well, these guys over here were stupid for buying an asset that was up 10x, right? But at the time, a lot of people in the market were telling these people that this is a great time to buy because the link's going to be $40 next week, right? So this is what I just want you guys to consider. Again, come up with a plan, right? It can be my plan, right? Intothecryptoverse.com, check it out, the website, right? I'll just paste it in the comment section. But again, I would say that the main thing is that you need to have a plan. So, by the way, the prices on the premium content are going up in 10 days. Okay, so if you want to get your grandfathered in at the lower price, make sure you sign up before that. As far as Uniswap, as I said, if you're just joining, we made a video on it yesterday. It was around $4 or so. This is a coin we'll follow on the channel. I don't say it lightly, right? I don't take on too many new coins that often, but I do think that if you look at last cycle, Ethereum was a coin that launched at the perfect time, right? I'm not saying that Uniswap is going to be that coin for this cycle, but what I'm saying is every market cycle, it seems that there are some opportunists, right, that launch their coin, whatever it may be. They try to launch it, when the market is bullish. And the reason, right, is because to some degree, the sky's the limit, right? You have no idea where it's going to go. A lot of coins that were launched at the end of 2017 saw these, amazing moves up. They've crashed by like 95%. So mentally, a lot of people have these like different boxes, right? Okay, we first have to get to, 20% of the prior all-time high, then 50%, and then 100%. But these coins that are launching now, right? There's no like psychological barriers, really, right? They could continue to go up, and to some degree, I've seen this happen a lot, right? I've been here for a while. I've seen this tactic a lot, and the tactic being you give away a lot of the tokens, right? You just give away the tokens. Not all of them, of course. They're reserving some tokens for the development team, and for further development, and a few other things, I believe. But I think they gave away 60%, right, of the current tokens to the community. But this is a good. It's a good marketing tactic, right? Because you're essentially, creating money. And one of the nice things is it gets people talking, right? It gets people talking about the coin. It raises awareness, because think about the excitement that everyone feels when they log into their Uniswap account and see that it's currently worth like $2,500, right? How many people, can just walk into $2,500? And if you had more than one wallet, right? Let's say you had 4 wallets that you had, used on Uniswap before. That's 10 grand that you could just go claim. So this is I think it's a smart marketing tactic. I've seen it work many, many times in the past. What happens is that some of the people, when you first get your coins, right, a lot of people just sell them. They just market sell them because they say, oh, like it's worth $1,200. Let me just sell them right away. And then they do, but the demand for a coin like Uniswap, the Uniswap governance token, right? The demand for this, as I said, right, there's going to be a lot of people, whether it's rational or not, that are going to FOMO in, right? And the reason being that, Uniswap was the catalyst for a lot of these major parabolic moves that just happened, over the last few months. So a lot of these coins that went parabolic, that went up 50x, 100x, a lot of them, it happened because of Uniswap, right? Without Uniswap, a lot of these coins probably would not have gone parabolic, right? But it was kind of this like Uniswap just craze where people would just go hunting for random microcaps on Uniswap and trying to just it was basically gambling. You can think of it like as a casino to some degree. But now, so I'm just looking at the I'm not sure what some of these comments are. Okay, so now, right, you have all these people that have been FOMOing into all these different coins. A lot of them got burned, right, because they eventually, I mean, you can try it for a while, right, and maybe it works out. Eventually, you're going to lose a lot of money by just gambling on a lot of random altcoins. Then you have this token on the exchange that fostered a lot of these parabolic moves. You have them launch the token, this governance token for Uniswap, and they launched it in a way, did they do the ICO, right, where they basically are asking money from people, right? And a lot of people don't trust ICOs, right? A lot of people just don't trust them because 99% of them are just complete scams, right? I mean, it's true. Most of them are complete scams. And if you think about it, right, from the perspective of the people launching the ICO, so, this is why you have to be careful, right? Because if someone starts an ICO, they run the ICO, they collect a lot of money. Let's say they collect millions. Let's say they collect like $20 million. They've already earned their reward, right? So there are studies, psychologically speaking, that show that when someone has already, if you've already received your reward, you're a lot less likely to follow through on what you received the reward for, right? So for example, if I told, let's imagine you're a kid, right, and you say you're going to do something, right? You say you're going to clean your room. Maybe your parents congratulate you on it and say, "Oh, thank you for doing that." Then you're a lot less likely to actually go clean it afterwards because you already got the reward for, you already got that theoretical reward for doing it, right? Even though you didn't actually do it, you already got the reward for doing it. And that was that praise. So the same thing applies, I think, in terms of crypto, right? I mean, human emotion is the same. So what I'm saying is like when people run these ICOs, then they get all this money. If you think about it from their side, right? Everyone's human. You get all this money, and then it's like, okay, you have $20 million. What do you want to do with it, right? Do you want to grind the cryptocurrency market for 3 years and hope that yours is one of the, out of a pool of like 10,000 different coins that yours does well? That's one track, right? It's a lot harder of a track. You deal with the community, or do you just go a different route, right? And this is what you have to be careful with ICO. So Uniswap, right? They did something different, right? I mean, they literally just gave away so many of their tokens, and this is what I think is a great marketing tactic, because you just get a ton of people talking about the coin, and what happens is, right, these initial people that FOMO into they get their coins and then they immediately sell it, right? So these people that immediately sell it, then they watch it go up, and then they get that feeling in like the pit of their stomach, like, oh my God, I've made a huge mistake. And then a lot of times they end up buying back in, right? So they get the tokens, they instantly market sell them, they see the token going up, and then they buy back in, right? Because they're like, oh, what was I thinking? Like, why didn't I just hold it? So it is a very volatile market. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to be able to tell you exactly what this token's going to do. It could go to $10 in 2 days. It could go to $3 in 2 days. I don't really know what it's going to do. But I do think that it's one at least worth, considering, right, to hold. And I'm not saying that now is a great price, right? I don't really know what a great price to buy it would be, but I think that it's at least one worth considering, looking into for the market cycle, because a lot of these coins, Polkadot is another one that we were covering on the channel, in development for years, launching at a pretty good time as long as Bitcoin holds the 20-week, right? We could look back and say, yeah, this was a great time for some of these tokens to launch, just like Ethereum, right? So if you look at Ethereum, and you go back to, if you go back, right, all the way back to when it first launched, I mean, it launched at such a great time, right? It launched at the, here in 2015, and note that it was in October of 2015, so only 2 months later, that Bitcoin got above the 20-week moving average, right? So let's look at that. So if you go back to August of 2015, so it was right here. So Ethereum launched right here, okay? And it actually launched right when Bitcoin failed to hold the 20-week. So maybe they were hoping that it was going to hold the 20-week, and then it didn't. But fortunately, I mean, it probably really had nothing to do with that, right? I'm just speculating on some things that are probably completely untrue. But if it was about trying to time the market, then they did a pretty, Ethereum launched at a really great time because it was immediately after Bitcoin held the 20-week as support for the next 2 years essentially. And during this time, Ethereum went from pennies on the dollar to $1,400, right? So, for instance, if you had invested $1,000 in Ethereum in October of 2015, that $1,000 I think would have been worth 1.5 million in January of 2018. So it's a lot of times it's all about timing. A lot of times it's about being lucky too. I mean, there's a lot of luck involved in my opinion as well. But you look today and you look at these tokens like Polkadot and these Uniswap tokens, the governance token, and you might look back on it and say, you know what, they launched at a really great time because maybe this was, when Bitcoin was holding the 20-week moving average, right? Maybe this was the very first time that it held the 20-week moving average for the cycle, and then it continued to remain bullish for the next few years. And then you look back and you say, oh yeah, what a great time for launching. They did a great marketing in terms of just giving the money, giving the tokens to people to raise awareness, right? So I think it was a really good launch, and now it's just kind of interesting, right? Because if whether you bought the tokens or not, a lot of people just have them, and a lot of people have so many tokens that it actually is a significant percentage of their portfolio, right? If say the average person, I really don't know what the average person would have, but let's say the average person has like say $10,000 in cryptocurrency, right? And you just get $2,500 of Uniswap tokens for free. I mean, this is a substantial percentage of your portfolio. And so then you're obviously going to want to follow it. You're going to be interested in it. And then it's just going to further drive up the price because you have all the masses doing so. So that's kind of like my spiel on Uniswap. I think it was a good launch. Going to be a lot of volatility. In the same manner that it could go down in the short term, it could go up. But I do think it's one that, if Bitcoin stays bullish, I think Uniswap is going to go up over time, just because you see the amount of volume that the exchange is doing, and again, I mean, with a potential launch of Ethereum 2.0, right, for the transition from proof of work to proof of stake, if the transaction fees can come down and people can actually send these transactions without spending like $15, $10 in gas fees, this could help catalyze another bull market, right? Or at least be a catalyst to continue the bull market at the very least. So imagine everyone's getting frustrated, right, with Ethereum in terms of how long it takes to send, how expensive the fees are. But imagine a world where there's a very successful transition and people can then send transactions quite easily. It's not hard to imagine that this would do wonders for the cryptocurrency market, right? Do absolute wonders. And in this situation, I think, places like Uniswap are going to do quite well. People are going to want to join these liquidity pools, and so on and so forth. And therefore, the actual utility of the Uniswap token is going to also improve. And I think the price will as well. So, I mean, again, this is not financial advice. It's just kind of me rambling on the Uniswap token. You guys know that I don't talk about too many tokens or too many coins on the channel, but I think this one merits it. So it'll be interesting. It'll be kind of fun, I think, to watch what the price does. I guess it's super volatile right now, and most coins are right out of the gate. Polkadot was another one, right out of the gate. It went up 2x as well. So, and I think actually Polkadot maybe even went up 2 or 3x, maybe like 2.5x from when it first hit exchanges. So just to kind of give you guys my opinions. I mean, when I see people talking, one of the really great things, right, about Uniswap, and again, I'm not like, I mean, there's, this is just me talking, right? There's no other incentives here. I want to keep it clean. One of the nice things about it, right, is if you're not super savvy when it comes to crypto, but you want to be able to pick up other tokens, it's super simple to just swap one ERC20 for another. And this is good because, as much as like we all think that everyone in the world should be able to, effectively manage all parts of these, these transactions, right, on the block, on whether it be Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever, for a lot of people, right, that you're probably watching my channel, this is second nature to you, right? You have no problem navigating the crypto world, sending between different addresses, trading, looking at the fees. Some of you even do arbitrage between exchanges. But the nice thing with Uniswap, right, is it makes it super simple, right? You just connect your wallet, makes it super simple to to basically collect what any of the ERC20s that are on there. So just a thought. I have no idea what the price is going to do in the short term, but again, as I said, I think it's worth following this token, this market cycle. The potential ROI I think is high, but you're also taking on a lot of units of risk, right? There's no free lunch, right? The risk adjusted returns, I don't know what they are. But I can tell you that I think the potential ROI is high over say the next 3 years. I do not know what it's going to do in the short term. Over the next 3 years, I think the ROI on this token will be rather high. It's just that the amount of risk that you take on is also high, right? And in the same manner that we can imagine it going to like $100 or something over the next 3 years or something, or even sooner, it could also not do that, and so you have to be aware of this. So remember, don't invest more than you can afford to lose. You guys understand that. Let me know what questions you guys have. I think we've kind of covered the gamut. Actually, I wanted to talk quickly about ADA. Let me just pull up the chart. So ADA is getting into this level down here where maybe it starts to turn around soon, right? I think if Bitcoin holds the 20-week, then maybe this is a turning point. Let me just see if there's any questions that I should get to. Okay, make sure you guys give the video a thumbs up and please subscribe to the channel if you guys like the content. Okay. Yeah, so ADA, as we mentioned, it's taken a huge hit, and I don't know where it's going to turn around. If you're on the premium list, you know what I'm doing right now with this stuff, or whatever I'm doing, but we'll see what happens, right? We came into this region down here. We went sideways for a long time. We called this a really great accumulation phase. We came up in the anticipation of Shelly. Once we got up here above 10 cents, this is the Bitcoin ratio, but you guys get the idea. Once we got up to this region, we were above 10 cents. I said, I'm no longer buying ADA above 10 cents. It's too risky for me. It's come back down. It's now, I think, around 9 cents or so. So I would say that, we could be entering these waters, right, of potential reaccumulation. Or, right, if Bitcoin fails to hold the 20-week, we could be heading down. So we'll see what happens. It does, in terms of its valuation against Bitcoin, it does not look so great, right? And by the way, if you follow the premium list at all, right, we talk about this in terms of the risk levels and identifying, when to slowly move back in, slowly move back out, that kind of stuff. So again, check it out if you haven't. Let me know what questions you guys have. I want to answer your guys' questions, so let me know, and I'll try to go through as many of them as I can. We already spoke about Link, so just rewind the video. We already talked about Link some. Yeah, VeChain, I think it's a decent project, right? There's a lot of decent projects out there. I would say it's risky, right? It's really risky, but I don't think there's necessarily anything inherently immediately wrong with it, but again, it's just another altcoin that you have to, if you believe in, the supply chain, and you wanna focus on that in your portfolio, then yeah, VeChain would be a choice. Joe Joe asked, "Can I join Uniswap to receive their tokens even if I'm not a U.S. resident?" The drop already happened, right? It was based on a historical snapshot starting before September 1st. So if you used it before September 1st, then you can get access to the tokens. You can't you can't just go make a wallet now and then get access to 400 tokens, because then everyone would just be creating 100 wallets an hour, claiming as many $2,500 airdrops as they could. So it has to be based on whether you had used the exchange, I believe, before September 1st. Um, Devin Smith says, "You say altcoins go up after Bitcoin is at all-time highs, but your Ethereum charts against Bitcoin show it's ascending over time. So do you think Ethereum or Bitcoin will I mean, first of all, I think I've showed many times that Ethereum does really well when Bitcoin gets above the 20-week, right? I mean, we've said this many, many times. Um, I mean, this is, maybe you just missed all the videos, right? But I mean, Ethereum against Bitcoin did really well when Bitcoin was holding, basically when it was above the 20-week, and then when it was holding it started holding it around here. Ethereum was doing quite well against Bitcoin, and then it did well again when Bitcoin got to the prior all-time high. So I don't think you can say that only altcoins do well when Bitcoin gets to the prior all-time high. A lot of them, a lot of them will do well when Bitcoin gets above the 20-week, but there are a lot of them that will pump significantly once Bitcoin gets to the prior all-time high, and some of them that won't pump at all until Bitcoin gets to the prior all-time high. Someone says, "Do you expect a major volatility because of the U.S. election?" There do tend to be dips in traditional markets around election time, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's a dip, but I don't necessarily think that there has to be a crash, right? I know a lot of people will say that there has to be a crash. There has to be a crash. There doesn't, actually. I mean, I know a lot of people think there will be. But there really doesn't actually have to be one, right? The markets can stay irrational more than you can stay solvent. And, if you had told people back in March that, the the NASDAQ, the S&P, the Dow, it would basically all be getting to new all-time highs in 2020 when it was crashing, when they were all crashing, they would have said it's impossible and that you're just completely full of it. In the same way, a lot of people are saying that it has to crash, right? It has to crash again. In the same way, and they'll say that it's impossible for it not to crash. In the same way, it might not, right? I mean, it just might not. And I know it sounds silly, right? I mean, you look at the world economy, you think like, how could it not? But at the same time, they're not exactly completely intertwined. I mean, they're not. And right now, it's just, I think assuming that it has to fall, right? What if you're wrong? What if it's just another bull run for another 3 years, like in traditional markets, right? We don't know what's going to happen, and that's why I say, like, it's just better to have a plan, stick to it. I buy stocks up to a very specified risk tolerance, and then I sell them above another risk tolerance, and it worked out quite well, actually. The S&P reached a risk of 0.8. 3 weeks ago or so. I sold 10%. I told people on the premium list, a lot of people did, and then it corrected back down, and now it's back to DCA, right? Back down, back to DCA. So again, it's just sticking to the math, looking at past volatility, trying to identify, trying to make some, I guess trying to come up with something that's more methodical than what it, the chaos that it seems like it is. So again, I don't think that the markets have to crash, but around election time, markets don't like change, right? So most markets are not a fan of change, and when there's when you introduce, or there's a threat of introducing change to the market, they don't tend to like that, right? And that's when that can cause dips in the market. So I would not be surprised if there's a dip in the market. However, if you look at past elections, oftentimes it recovers rather quickly and it continues moving up, right? So I'm just saying, I personally, not financial advice, I personally would be betting the family farm on the idea that the S&P, has to crash or anything like that. I mean, it will crash at some point, right? I mean, I don't know when it could be 5 years from now, but it doesn't necessarily have to completely crash in the short term. But a short-term correction into an election is certainly possible. Sorry, let me scroll up. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, please, and give the video a thumbs up. We only have 100 likes. Let's try to get to 200. Let me see if there's some questions I should get to. Someone says, okay, so Jimmy says, I'm holding Bitcoin, but have some money on the sideline, watching altcoins bleed. Which one to pick? Chainlink, Tezos, or ADA? I think that if you have money on the sideline, which is a good thing in my opinion, I think it's always wise to have some money on the sideline. What I would be looking for, right? I mean, regardless of which one you pick, I would say look to see what Bitcoin's going to do, right? And if you want to be less risky, right, you might want to see if it comes up here, right, and moves back into more bullish waters, or if it gets rejected and comes back down. So my comment to you, right, is depending on what your risk tolerance is, right, and if you have a lot of money on the sidelines, maybe you're more risk averse, you might just want to give Bitcoin a little bit more time and see where it's headed. Now, if you don't care about these short-term moves, then maybe by getting in now, you're potentially increasing your future return. But again, we like to talk about risk-adjusted returns. So yeah, the return on buying an altcoin now, like ADA, like Tezos, like Link, could be quite high. In the same manner, you're taking on a lot of risk by buying it at such a critical time for Bitcoin. So this is my general opinion on altcoins right now. Right, they are very risky. It doesn't mean you can't buy them, but just recognize how risky they are, and that waiting and seeing kind of what happens, and being okay that you might purchase them higher than what they are now, but also recognizing that, if you do wait and then Bitcoin does dip back down, then you could get an even better bargain, right? And then your risk-adjusted returns increase a lot because you're getting into the coin during a correction, right? So just consider it, right? And as far as those three coins, I prefer Link and ADA over Tezos. Is my general opinion. I mean, I don't think Tezos is bad, right? I do have it. I even have it on the risk dashboard if you're on the premium list, right? But I do prefer ADA and Link over Tezos. Between Link and ADA, I do have a preference. I'm not going to say it here, actually. I do tell people on some of the premium list stuff. But I mean, I think one of the things you could do is it doesn't have to be all or nothing, right? You could weight it, right? You could do like if those three coins are coins that you really you want to have, you could split it up. You could do 1/3 of each coin. You could do like 50% of one coin and then 25% of the other two coins. So it doesn't have to be this all-in approach, right? And one reason, right, and this is why index funds are so great for a lot of people, is because, as we've said, any individual stock or any individual cryptocurrency, if that's all you buy, you're taking on a lot of what's known as idiosyncratic risk, right? Which is this like sigma. So you're taking on, let's say you're taking on the market risk, right? There's a risk of being in crypto. if Bitcoin ebbs and flows, the entire market fills it. So you're taking on the market risk plus the idiosyncratic risk of every individual cryptocurrency. So by creating, say, like a little index fund of cryptocurrencies, that idiosyncratic risk, right, which is just like a sigma, right? It moves up and down for each coin. They cancel out, right? So you want to get rid of that idiosyncratic risk by having more than just, say, one altcoin. Is my general interpretation, or my general thinking there. So I would say, you might consider just getting kind of like a maybe a percentage of some of those coins, but not necessarily just going all in on one. Because what if you pick one of those three and you put all your money there, and then that's the only one that doesn't do well, right? So this is what you have to consider. Let me look at the other questions. Um, 200 IQ says bought Uniswap yesterday. Hold long is good, right? I think it's a good long hold. Honestly, I think it's probably a good short term hold too. But I mean, it has been so far. I mean, it's gone up 2x since yesterday. Um, but again, I mean, we'll see what happens. I can't really claim to have any idea what's going to happen in the short term, because a lot of it depends on Bitcoin. But I do think it's a good long term hold. Just recognize that there's going to be a lot of volatility along the way, right? There's going to be a ton of volatility along the way. Bernoulli says, do you think the cycle length is increasing at a increasing rate, or at a decreasing rate, a linear rate, or a decreasing rate? Um, I don't think it's decreasing. Um, I think. Okay, so you're talking about the rate of change of the cycle. It's a good question, right? I mean, I don't. Well, I would say it's either linear or exponential, probably linear or exponential, and it's just too early to say. Um, if I had to guess, I mean, I think that this cycle will probably peak out in 2023, maybe plus or minus 6 to 8 months. I think the cycle after that will peak maybe in like 2032, 2031, 2032. And then I think the cycle after that will probably peak in like 2042. So maybe that's closer to linear than, that's probably linear, more so than exponential, right? Because exponential would essentially mean that the cycles are getting exponentially longer, which, I mean, so far they haven't been getting exponentially longer. But I mean, it could be that we just don't have enough data points to show that, and then it could turn out to be exponential. So I think I would say that it's probably linear, but again, I don't think there's enough data to really project out too much yet. Someone says, how important is it for Bitcoin to hold the 20-week moving average for the next bull run to happen? I mean, I think that there's a good chance the bull run has already started, and that we just got our first confirmation of it, right? When it held the 20-week. Again, we could easily come back down and fall below it, but again, in hindsight, maybe this is the first time we held it this market cycle, and maybe it's going to hold for the next 3 years, right? I don't know, but I do think that if it doesn't hold, then the Bitcoin bull market is completely put on hold for probably another 6 months. Okay, and the reason, right, is, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be 6 months, but it's just taking a look at the time between when we tried to hold it here and we failed to when we held it the next time, or tried to hold it the next time. It was 6 months in between, and then now is another 6 months in between. So if we fall below it, it's probably going to take us maybe half a year to get back above it, and then to come back down and retest it again. So I do think it's critical for the bull market for Bitcoin to hold the 20-week moving average. It doesn't mean that we can't have wicks below it, right? It just means that we don't want to see candles closing below it, right? So if you zoom in here, you can see this first candle came down to it, Second candle had, or the first candle had a wick that came down to it. Second candle had a wick that went slightly below, and now we've started bouncing back up, right? So we, at least in the short term, we've seen a bounce off the 20-week moving average. This is good. If we go below it, though, I would say the bull market's getting delayed by another 6 months, probably. Sorry, let me just look at some of the other questions. Someone said, do you still do physics stuff? Yes. For those of you that don't know, I have my PhD is in nuclear engineering. So, you know, I know it's shocking to a lot of people, but doing stuff on YouTube is not my primary thing. So, yeah, I still do physics stuff. I tend to refer to it as computational material science, but we can call it physics stuff too. Jeremy Quinn says, if the market cycles are getting longer, does that also mean the major dips won't be as bad too? It's hard to say, you know. I mean, so far, if you look at Bitcoin, I mean, I'll give you my interpretation in a minute, but if you look at the Bitcoin dips in the past, right, they've all been about 80 to 90% after the major bull run, right? So if you look here, so, you know, from at least the peak of the wick, right, this was a 90% drop. If you take it from just say the candle or something, we're talking about a 90% drop. This one here was approximately an 84% drop, and then this one here was approximately an 84% drop as well. So it still could be that we see this, but my gut tells me that the volatility, and not my gut, right, the data tells me that I think over the macro scale, macro level volatility will reduce, and that any annualized volatility of Bitcoin, or say like the difference between like the minimum and maximum as well, will not be as high in the future. So I do think that the next bear market probably won't be as bad. But then again, I mean, like, you know, you look at March 12th of this year and the entire market, I mean, Bitcoin dropped by like 60% in a day. So it's really hard to say, but I do think that there's a good chance that the next halving will help curb the effects of the bear market rather than catalyze the next bull market. So be on the lookout for this, right? Be on the lookout for the 2024 halving, not catalyzing a new bull market, but helping curb the effects of the bear market. So this is what I think. Let me just see some of the questions. Code French says, apart from the math of the markets, what are your own personal thoughts for the future in the short term, 6 months? You know, as I've said before, guys, you know, short term it's a random walk, it's geometric Brownian motion. I can't really tell you. I mean, the entire market is hinging on the fact that if Bitcoin holds the 20-week, right? Bitcoin needs to hold the 20-week moving average for the general market to stay bullish, right? And you know, a lot of people have been burned, right? In 2019, a lot of people got burned. You know, you get to this point where you think that it just always has to come back down. But I think that we're on track, right? If we put back our trusty regression line, let's put on a regression line, right? So this is our regression line here. Let me remove some of this nonsense that I have drawn on here. So, you know, I think we're on course, right, for a sustainable $20,000 Bitcoin, you know, in about 15 months or so. But it's a long grind to get there. So my general thinking, it's really hard to say the next 6 months. I think over the next 16 months, we're generally going to go up, right? I think over the next 16 months, we're generally going to go up. Over the next 6 months, right, if we don't hold the 20-week, it's possible we come back down and then come back up and still end up going to where we were always going in the first place, right? This is always a possibility, okay? In the same manner, I mean, we could go up, right, and then come back down, do something like that, but continue on up. So I can't really say the next 6 months. I would say the next 15 months, I think we're going to generally trend upwards. But there could be weeks where Bitcoin drops 30%, right? And there probably will be over the next 15 months. There probably will be weeks where it drops like 30% or something. Dark Phoenix says, "What did you major again? My undergrad was in math. My PhD and master's, or my master's and PhD were in nuclear engineering." Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. Yeah, I did see that Kraken was given bank status in Wyoming, right? I did see that. Someone says I used to work in a candy reactor. That's pretty cool. 20s Investing says, "Have you gone over BAT token?" Actually, there is one video on my channel where I talk about the basic attention token. Someone put the integral of UV equals negative the integral of BDU. Okay, yeah. Integration by parts. Yes. Someone says, is Kraken bank news bullish for Bitcoin? As I've said before, I don't think, a lot of times Bitcoin doesn't really care about the news. It's just that, I mean, it does in some sense. I think that in a bull market, it's just that people ignore the bad news, right? And in a bear market, people ignore the good news. So yeah, I mean, it's good for Bitcoin, but at the same time, if in February of 2018, the same thing had happened, like, it would not have made any difference, right? People just wouldn't have cared, and Bitcoin would have still continued to go down. Daniel says, "If you were just entering the market, which coins would you would you consider DCing in right now?" I mean, if you're completely new, I think Bitcoin and then Ethereum would be the places to start. Not financial advice. Best way to avoid general fees? Well, I mean, if you're trying to avoid gas fees, I mean, you can use a centralized exchange, right? And where we're not actually sending things on chain. So, I mean, the best way to avoid insane transaction fees, and that take say hours to see it get filled, you're gonna have to use a centralized exchange until I mean, if you're talking about say the Ethereum network, right? Until they get their ducks in a row, and then maybe they shift over to proof of stake, and they get a handle on the transaction times and the transaction fees. This is probably the best way to reduce your that waiting period and the fees. Chaz says, "Why did you get into crypto?" I took a math class. My undergrad was in mathematics, and I took a cryptography class in 2010, and that was when I learned about Bitcoin. So I thought it was pretty interesting, and it was related to the class I was taking. So that's what got me interested. Someone says, "Do you think money itself will change during this bull market?" I don't know. I mean, I think there's a good chance that we will transition to a a stable coin, right? And probably government issued, right? And as I've said before, I think the future peer-to-peer is not some of these niche projects, but it's more likely to be a stable coin, and that stable coin may or may not even exist yet. So this is my opinion. I know it sucks, right, for a lot of people that want to see their niche coin become the future peer-to-peer. It doesn't mean that people aren't going to speculate on it and probably make some money doing so. But I think the future peer-to-peer will just be stable coins that maybe don't even exist yet. Yeah, I've looked into some of the gaming coin stuff, but I don't really talk about it on the channel. Thoughts on quantum computers crashing? Yeah, so I mean, if you guys aren't familiar with Bitcoin, there's always that concern that like quantum computers are going to basically be able to crack all the codes, crack all the private keys for all the addresses. I mean, maybe it's a problem in the future. I don't really think it's going to be a problem this market cycle. And even then, I mean, even in 10, 20 years, I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue. But, I mean, it certainly would be something to talk about as the technology continues to improve. Bamo says he's... okay, so he's thanks for the compliment and saying this is the best crypto subscription. Someone says, speak your mind on Monero. We've talked about Monero. Let me pull it up here. Monero is one of the ones that it did lag against Bitcoin. Actually, let me pull it up on a different exchange that has more data. So, we made a video a few weeks ago on Monero saying that this looks like a potential great reaccumulation period for Monero, right? And it looks, of course, it looks kind of similar to this one for ADA, right? That we identified this one for ADA when we were in it and said that this looks to be a potential reaccumulation phase, right? And I think that Monero is looking really similar. And as we said before, Monero made a big move against Bitcoin back later in 2016. So if you look here, it made sort of a move in the first quarter of 2016, right? Which is when it held when Bitcoin was holding the 20-week moving average as support. But it made almost a 1,300% move against Bitcoin later in the year. And the reason why that's important is because there were not a whole lot of coins moving this significantly during this period of time, right? If you look at Ethereum, during, say, June of 2016 to December of 2016, it was moving down. So over this period of time, it lost, 50% against Bitcoin. So we're looking at June to December. Okay, so then if you look at Monero and look at, say, June, so let's take it from June. Let me delete this one. Okay, so we're gonna go from June through, let's just go through, well, here's through September, but let's go through December so that we're being fair. So Ethereum went down 50% against Bitcoin, but during the same time, Monero went up against Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin was making its run, in say, if you say in the second half of 2016, when it was making that final push to the prior all-time high, a lot of coins were bleeding against Bitcoin. However, Monero was not. So Monero was one of the few that was actually gaining against it. And this is why I said a few weeks ago with the Monero video is that I think that this is a potential great reaccumulation range for Monero, and that if Bitcoin does make that, we talk about lengthening cycles, right? And the idea that Bitcoin will probably not reach a sustainable 20K for another like 15 months or so. Well, it could be during that time we see Monero repeat its move against Bitcoin, and we see I don't think it would be as substantial, right? Decreasing volatility, same thing. But I do think that this is a potential reaccumulation range for Monero. And I think the main thing that would preclude this from playing out would be if Bitcoin does not hold the 20-week, right? So if Bitcoin does not hold the 20-week, we're probably going to come back down to the range, and then maybe if it then gets above the 20-week again, it'll start going back up, and then we'll try again. But I think that if Bitcoin holds the 20-week, then I do think that the Monero ratio against Bitcoin could be breaking out, right? I do think that is a strong possibility. So thanks for the question. I do mean to talk about it from time to time. Sorry, I'm just looking at some of the questions. Someone says, what is the data analysis software you use to draw these graphs? I use different ones. I mean, Python is a pretty decent one you can use, right? I mean, Python is one that a lot of STEM majors use. Like, it's a good place to start. Cejik says, what's your favorite altcoin? I don't know if I want to divulge that. Yeah, I don't necessarily share my entire portfolio on here. QSol says, I'm saving my like for when Ben says we need to get to 200. All right, guys, let's get to 200 likes. We'll see if we can make it to 200 likes. Make sure you subscribe to the channel too. Oh, we're at 191. And actually, Link went below $10 not too long ago. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I mean, it reached over here at $8, almost less than $9, but it did go below $10 about an hour ago. Yeah, if you're looking for the premium subscription, you can send it from any Bitcoin wallet. By the way, guys, if you are interested in the premium list, a lot of people are asking me like, "Oh, is this in reaccumulation?" If you want to know what I'm doing, generally speaking, like candidates out in the market, we do have the private alerts channel on Telegram. You can access all that by just going to intothecryptoverse.com and subscribing. So make sure you check it out. I do post basically daily alerts, right? And you also get access to the risk dashboard, the private chat room, the premium weekly videos, the premium reports, a lot of stuff. Prices are going up in 10 days, okay? So make sure you subscribe before then if you want to get grandfathered in at the lower price, right? So you could just sign up for 1 month, and if it's not your thing, at least you know, and then you just move on. But if you do think you would benefit from it, which I feel like a lot of people have signed up for it, then make sure you sign up before then, because the prices will be going up quite substantially in 10 days. Okay, so just another warning about that. So do check it out. Also, if you guys want to join the Telegram channel, you guys should check that out. I'll go ahead and put the Telegram channel in the chat, so you guys can join it if you want. And this is the public channel, not the private one. Paulo, you can also pay with crypto if you just click pay with crypto. Brindley says, do you exercise? If so, what's your general activity? So the main growing up, I mainly played soccer. I'm an American, so we call it soccer, and basketball. And then in college, I mainly played like tennis. I play a lot of tennis and ultimate frisbee, right? But I mean, who doesn't play ultimate frisbee in college? I like disc golf too. I think disc golf is fun. And then so that would be like, like more organized events. And then unorganized event, I mean, just like going to the gym, right? Like lifting weights, that kind of stuff. I haven't done that in a little while, actually, especially since the pandemic. But that's generally, and I like to swim too. I think swimming is I'm not a huge fan of just like running on a treadmill, but I do like doing laps in like a well, not an Olympic size pool, but maybe like half of one, and doing laps there. So that's a lot of times how I'll get exercise. I'll be interested to see if this one pushes past 7 and goes back to 8 again, because it's crazy. The volatility is just absolutely insane right now on this coin. Someone says they're waiting for Link to be $2.50 or $2.50. We'll see. I'm not sure if it's going to make it there. We'll see. No, I don't know of any specific risk books. I mean, it was just stuff I picked up over a long period of time. I can't tell you a specific one. In fact, you can probably see behind me all the I don't know if you can see them, but a lot of programming books, a lot of engineering books, a lot of math books, and also a lot of board games. So you might be able to see a lot of the board games over there. I have, of course you have Settlers of Catan, Dominion, Terraforming Mars, Ticket to Ride, Twilight Imperium, Seven Wonders, Eclipse, Puerto Rico, Terra Mystica, Agricola. I mean, the list goes on. There's a lot of board games up there. Someone says one of the guys that I'm following is saying Ethereum will go back to $50 and Bitcoin is $6,500. What do you think? I think that, I mean, with Bitcoin, there's always a chance that it goes to the 200-week moving average, right, which is currently at 66.77, right? I think a lot of it hinges on Bitcoin breaking this, right? right now, I don't know that there's enough reason to think that we're immediately going to head down there. If we close below this, though, then the chances of us going all the way down here are a lot higher. Or sorry, not all the way down here, but all the way down to say the 200-week moving average to go up significantly. Ethereum to $50, I don't really see that one happening. Remember, there's a lot of people that basically make every single video and they just say that Ethereum is crashing, right? They just say Ethereum is going to crash or Bitcoin is going to crash, and this is all they ever say. And it appeals to a lot of people because, it appeals to the fear, right? So I don't think that this is generally even, it is what it is, right? I mean, no one really knows if it's going to correct back down there or not, but I don't think that it's, personally, I don't think that it's smart to completely sit out of the market just because someone tells you that they think the price of Bitcoin is going to crash to that level. I think it's just absurd, right? And I said this at $9,000. A lot of people were saying that, oh, there's no reason to buy at $9,000 because, Bitcoin's going to go back down and fill the 4-hour CME gap at like 3,500, 3,550. And I was like, this is preposterous, right? If it does go back down there, fine, but why would you completely sell your positions or refuse to buy in because you're convinced that it has to go to that level? So I think it's silly to make these trades based on what you think something has to do, and just instead make the trades based on the idea that we don't know what it will do, but we recognize that we're probably still in decent reaccumulation phase. And remember, I've said before that 2019, 2020, and part of 2021 are probably the best accumulation years for cryptocurrency for, forever, basically, because every cycle the ROI goes down, right? Volatility reduces. So I think 2019, 2020, and 2021 are going to be great times to build up positions. Not that it's not financial advice, and that really the goal is to just get as much as you can, get as much Bitcoin as you can for as cheap as you can. So this is the goal. Azu, we already talked about Chainlink. Someone says, what's your favorite board game? Probably right now, my favorite board game is Through the Ages. Favorite programming language, Python. I've never played World of Warcraft, no. I played chess. If any of you guys want to play chess, maybe I'll play you guys on the live stream. If any of you guys want to play, let me know, and maybe I'll do a couple games on the live stream. Dark Phoenix has no PayPal for your subscription. If you want to do PayPal, you have to pay for a year, so just reach out to me if you want to do that. So I'm just reading through a lot of the comments. Yeah, I mean, you guys know my opinion on XRP. I don't need to talk about it in every live stream. Yeah, people are saying that the Uni token hit $7. Yeah, it looks like it's coming back up here. Again, I would expect a lot of volatility both to the upside and the downside. And even if it does pump back up, right, up to this region up here, maybe $10 or so, it's probably going to come back down and even continue on. So don't expect it to just go up monotonically, even if it does go up. Okay. Jimmy says, I want to play chess with you, but not on live stream, so I won't win you on live stream. Okay. Yeah, we can play Bullet. If anyone wants to challenge me, you can challenge me here, leechess.org. Just challenge me into the cryptoverse, and I'll play you. If anyone wants to challenge me, you can challenge me on here. Yeah, back above $7. Maybe I told someone recently, they said they bought it $8 and they felt dumb. I was like, well, you probably won't feel dumb for too long because the volatility of this coin is likely going to, there's a good chance, right? There's a good chance that $8 will be passed, right? No one has challenged me yet, so if you guys do want to challenge me, you can challenge me on here. Oh, bullet is just the time control for it's just like 1-0, right? It's just 1-0. So like 1 minute, 0 second increments. Nuggets or Lakers? I'm gonna go with the Lakers. I think LeBron will pull it out, but we'll see. I didn't, to be completely honest. I thought the Clippers would beat the Nuggets, but it is what it is. Here we are. All right. Well, I guess none of you guys use this since I still don't have any. Oh, a challenge came in. All right, we're gonna play someone. I'm assuming this is someone watching the live stream. G Angel 07. It is your move. Maybe Uniswap will or yeah, the Uniswap governance token will pump up while we're playing here. I used to play chess a lot, actually. I used to be better than I am now, but I don't play it as much. Hmm. I used to be good at this game. That's unfortunate because I just dropped that piece. Yeah, I'm probably gonna lose on time. Someone says Ethereum's dumping. Oh look, Uniswap's back below 7. Hmm. Um. I don't know. I think this is probably a draw. Uh, it would be my guess, is that it's a draw, but I don't really know. So I mean, like, I'm pretty sure that's a draw because he has a. I'm not gonna flag him on time, so I'm just gonna accept his draw. All right, let's play someone else. 2366. Oh my god, this guy would kill me. Who's watching? I'm curious. Who's in the stream that is ranked 2366? Like, this is insane. Like, this is a really good player. This guy is really good. He's way better than I am. Yeah, I'm gonna get destroyed here. I'm actually winning this game. I'm gonna lose on time. I'm losing on time, but I was actually doing better than I thought because I actually have 2 rooks versus a rook and a bishop. But whatever. Does anyone else want to play? I'll take another challenge. Oh, it's back down to 670. What is Bitcoin doing? 10.9. Any last challenges? Probably going to end the stream soon. I think I'm winning this if I weren't just running out of time. Let's see. Yeah, I mean I'm up, but I was too slow. was the problem. And by the way, if you guys missed it, if I just show you really quick, you know, this point here, like you probably saw me take that, and you're wondering why. Well, the reason is because if he takes back, then I come here with check, so then he's in check, and then I pick up the bishop, and then I also protect the knight. Okay, so this is the idea. If he takes, I come here, he has to move, and then I take the bishop. So the problem, right, is he's threatening, before I do that, right, he's threatening to take the knight, which in order to defend it, I have to maybe move here. But if I do that, if I go here, then he has checkmate, right? So the other option is I move the pawn forward, then he takes the rook, right, with the bishop, which I don't want to do that. So the best way out is to do the check, right? If he takes, then you do the check. He moves, or he moves the queen, then you get the bishop. This is this, and I don't know if you saw that. But that was the general idea. So he came here. I wonder if I missed anything. Oh yeah, I guess I missed that. Oh well, it's bullet. It's hard to see the things when they're that quick. I don't think the markets are going to be too thrilling tonight. Does anyone want to play again? No more challenges. Is that? It looks like someone named XMR Hodler is started following me. I think I played this guy already. Yeah, we taught. Well, I just offered him the draw. Oh. Take it easy. Hey man, you gotta do this. Alright, let's trade queens. I think I've got this one. Alright, we got another challenge. We'll play him. Bald Eagle. I'm happy to know there's so many people watching my stream, like, enjoy playing chess. I'm not sure what this guy's rated, because I guess he just joined the site. He could be really good. What can I say? I like chess. I can get distracted on it. There's a knight right here. Maybe I should take a... Eh. Let's check. I mean, if he moves the knight here, this check will be nasty. Okay, now it's not as bad. Just checking what's going on. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna win this game. Like, it's not even close. Yeah, I think I'll go here, and then if he takes the knight, then I get the queen, or if he takes the queen, I recapture with the knight. Yep, so he missed it. He loses the queen. He can take the knight, or he doesn't have to. I think we'll just checkmate him. This is checkmate right here, unless he moves out or something. Oh, still checkmate. Oh, we got another one. Let's play him. I don't know how good this guy is, but we'll see. He's new as well. Oh, 1793. He's pretty good. It's always tempting to sack, you know, but and I can't yet anyways, but it's not a bullet game, and it looks like he did, he added time to it, so I don't even know if I'm going to finish this game, because this is going to take a long time. So I do have this. He takes, check. There's not really good follow-up, because then I can check here with the queen. No, I wouldn't be able to. I would only be able to check if it goes back because there. I feel like it's probably not a great idea. You know, maybe I should have taken here actually, because if he takes with the knight, I take back, and then if he takes with that pawn, then I take the queen, and then he can't castle because he has to capture back with the king. I probably should have done that actually. I think we'll write that off as a rookie mistake. I think I'll just bring this out. Well, no. I'll move this forward. Now he's going backwards. This is good for me. I think I'll move that there in case he goes here and pins the knight against the queen. Does that. I'm gonna try to get rid of this piece because this is a good piece for him. It's eyeballing the king. So I don't want him to come in here and lock me down. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and take that, and then I'll probably take this if he takes with the knight. He does not take with the knight. I'll go. No, I don't want to go there because then he's okay. I think I'll do this. So I can definitely get the. I'd like to keep my bishop, to be completely honest, but we'll go here. Hopefully he doesn't take. Okay, I think I might take this actually. Um, no, we can't do that because then he can push you. All right, I think I will try to reroute this tonight. Well, maybe he's wanting to go here. Let me go ahead and do this. Maybe he's wanting to sack here and take with the queen. So I can win the bishop now, because if I push this pawn here, right, if he takes, then I take, and I have it triple protected, right? So, I mean, even if he does take, I can take back. But he can't go here, right, because the pawn takes. So if I go here, he... Actually, it's not... I don't completely win it, right? He can go here and I take, and he takes back with the knight. I think I will get rid of this piece, though, because I don't like that piece. Actually, maybe I should go here. I still don't actually win it. He probably wants to move the queen. Well, now I think I do win it, right? Because if I move up, he can't even go here now because I take. So I think this wins the bishop. Okay, so if I take, he takes with the queen. I think I can just come over here and protect, but we'll see. Go here. This is triple protected, so I should be fine. I'm also threatening this because he can't take because the rook pins the king. My king is looking pretty sketch over here. I'm not gonna lie. You're right. It's looking pretty sketch. Look, Uni's back down to 650. Oh. I think I'm gonna get rid of this. And then move here. Yep. I could see myself losing. I mean, I know he has this, right? But if I go here, I theoretically protect it. If I go here, he has this. I can just block. It's pretty sketch. I could just take with the rook. No, because then he's got that. All right, I'll take here. This will be a nice outpost for the knight. Okay, so if I go here and he takes, I just take back with the queen. Oh, and then he goes here. And then my queen is trapped. So I really want to go ahead and put the knight here and then threaten checkmate, right, with the queen. But if I go here and he takes, I have to take back with the queen. And I would want to checkmate on the next move, but I can't because he would go here, pinning the queen. So I think the best thing to do would probably be to go over here to protect the rook with this rook. Okay, that doesn't look like a good move to me for some reason. I mean, I can go here and do a check. Yeah. I can also go here and do check. Actually, I mean, if I go here, he has to move the rook back because otherwise it's checkmate, right? The knight covers the escape squares. So here, and then he blocks. Then I come here. Yeah, I don't think I like that. I think I'm going to go here. I'm trying to think, like, if he goes here and go check, and then if he blocks, then I come here, check, and then check. He has to block with the rook, so I'm just going to go ahead and pre-move that. Oh, this is checkmate. Oh, no, it's not checkmate. He can take with the queen. Oh, my gosh, that was stupid. That was bad. That was really bad. That was unfortunate. Now I'm probably losing. Yeah, I think I'm lost here, actually. I think that was a big mistake. Because if I had him, I'm trying to think what else I had here. Instead of doing the queen there. I probably could have just moved the knight here, and then I would be threatening, you know, checkmate that way. Well, I guess I can't move it because the rook's pinned, but... Oh well. I guess I'll fight on. But I'm pretty sure I'm lost here. Oh, then he wins that. This is a theoretical draw, I'm pretty sure, but I probably don't know what it is. Pretty sure I need to keep the rook over here, actually, to draw it. Because I need to keep the rook behind the pawn. So if I go here and he takes, and then I take, no, then he goes there and he wins. Okay, I can't do that. So I'll come back over here. I know this is a theoretical, I'm pretty sure it's a theoretical draw, but I'll probably lose it anyways. Alright, well, he took the draw. I'm pretty sure it's a draw, though, actually. Yeah, it's a draw. You can see a 0-0, so it was a draw. Man, I really had him earlier, too, and I just completely screwed it up. So there, check, here, he went there. Yeah, okay, so this was the best move. Because I'm threatening this, right, and then the discovery if I move back. Alright, whatever. Alright guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Okay? I think we're gonna wrap it up. Remember, if you guys want to join the premium list, check it out, intothecryptoverse.com. I do not provide my amazing chess skills, which are lacking on there, but you do get access to a lot of the premium, the premium content, the private alerts. Prices are going up in 10 days, so if you want to get grandfathered in, make sure you sign up before then. Make sure you check out the Telegram channel. Please give the video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. For the 300 of you watching me play chess on a Friday night, thank you. And I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Well, someone says don't leave me hanging. I'm not really sure what I don't really know what you're talking about. Thanks for the chess games. Yeah, hope you liked the games. And we'll maybe we'll play again in the future. That'll wrap it up, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, and I'll just put the link if you guys want into thecryptoverse.com. I'll put it in the chat. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.